Here's the deal, here's the deal, here's the deal from the Chick-mobile. Chick Chat. All right, everybody, here's the deal from the Chick-mobile. Welcome. Welcome to our first edition of Chick Chat. I thought about opening with hello, all you cool chicks and chickens. But that seemed
less cool,
a little more outdated. So here it is, the deal from the Chick-mobile. So we're here today. We got Kelsey joining us from the back seat, Lacey, and I'm Amber. We're wearing our convenient name tag. I am, at least, on the camera today. So it's all right. You know who we are, the organizer chicks. We wanted to just come and do some chick chats. People always ask us, like, what's going on inside that car? What do you guys talk about while you're riding around? And so today, I just thought it would be a fun thing to do to come and talk a little bit about anxiety. Yes, anxiety. And I'm going to tell you guys a story. It's a true story that happened a couple weeks ago. We were having a big event that was coming up, and I was trying to shop and do some planning, prep work for it. And all day long, I have to make decisions, like sometimes big decisions, by myself, and I do it just fine. But on this particular day, I was just decisioned out, I guess. And I called Lacey, and I was like, listen, tomorrow I just need you to come with me, I guess, because I had been ready to purchase napkins. This is a story about napkins. And I stood there in the party planning section of this store, just frozen in indecision because I couldn't decide. Should I get all yellow napkins? Should I get yellow and black napkins? Should I throw some white in there? Which is like, who cares, right? Like now in my like sane, calm mind, who cares? But at the time, I was just so frozen with indecision that I stood there for like 2 minutes of being flustered and like thinking through all the options, trying to make like the very best decision. And then I left with no napkins, and I called Lacey. And she said,
that's anxiety, and you're just like at decision threshold. You've just made too many decisions right now. You just need a break.
And I have a master's of science in clinical mental health. And again, I have to make big decisions all the time. And I usually do that pretty decently. And the thing is that what Lacey said to me in that moment was an epiphany. I literally did not realize that what I was struggling with in terms of making it wasn't about the napkins. Like, who really cares about the napkins, right? It was that decision fatigue and the anxiety coming up is what made it so hard for me. So that was just like a aha moment. Like, if you're feeling stuck in something, maybe it's not that the decision is so hard. Like, maybe you need to just give yourself a break, you know? So anyway, I don't know. Have you guys ever had situations like that where something's coming up and you're like, I'm not at my most functional right now? And have you recognized in the moment that it was anxiety, or have you recognized that afterward?
I remember years ago, must have been about 2003 maybe, we were at your house for a jewelry party, some kind of like jewelry party.
Yep.
And we had played a little game, and I was the winner of said little game, and I got to choose a piece of jewelry from this like booklet. I was young, I was in college, I did not have like extra funds to give towards jewelry, so I was so excited to be able to like, I get to pick anything that I want from this book to have.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I looked, and I tried to narrow it down, and I looked and looked, and I ended up crying, and I couldn't like explain why.
Yeah. And everyone was like, but you won something free, it should be fun.
Exactly, everyone and myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Why? But like,
forfeit
never
my
mind.
prize,
Yeah.
give it to anybody else. Did you in that moment recognize that was anxiety? Did it take you years later to kind of process through that?
I didn't at all
Yeah.
know that that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think, first of all, like, mental health talk was just not then what it is now.
Yeah.
And I was not educated on my feelings, honestly. And I knew that I felt overwhelmed, but I didn't know why, because I could logically understand that it was just a small
Not a big
decision
deal.
that was not
Yeah.
like a life
Right.
situation.
It's napkins, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I couldn't make that matter enough to not.
Or even articulate that necessarily. Yeah. What about you, Kelsey? Anything coming up for you
No,
on that
like
subject?
specific moment is
Yeah.
coming to me, but I used to be very bad at making decisions, and I would feel like everyone was like such a big one,
Yeah.
even when it wasn't. And it probably has always been anxiety, but I've never ever called it that.
Right.
Because I've always been like, I don't have a anxiety
Mhm.
disorder, so like,
Mhm.
and I don't want to undermine people who do, so I just like say that I
Right.
don't
Don't
even
want to
though
like
we can
take
all
on.
experience.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think that's a really important takeaway is that you don't have to use diagnostic lingo necessarily. You don't have to even go medicate yourself if you don't think that that's, a pervasive issue in your life. But understanding that everybody deals with anxiety, even if you don't have anxiety in a more permanent, long-lasting kind of a way, the just life experience is going to cause some anxiety. And I think the more that we, like you said, are willing to talk about it, to recognize it when it happens, because I feel like if in that moment while I was standing in the party planning section, if I would have just said to myself, Amber, you're okay. This is just some anxiety that you're feeling, and it's fine. Like, give yourself permission to either make a decision and know that it doesn't really matter long term, or to walk away and table this decision for right now. That is also a fine option. It's not a failure. And I think I stood there for way longer than I probably should have, trying to like coach myself off the ledge of feeling like a dummy. Because I felt like, you idiot.
Yeah.
Why have you gone all day long making all these decisions for other people's like lives and livelihood and stuff? And then when it comes down to it, you can't just make a call about just go with the black napkins, man, But I think the more that we can identify what's going on, put a name to it, the more that helps us just kind of take a breath in that moment and then be able to process forward through the thing that we're experiencing.
Which
So
this ties right into our clients, because how many
Absolutely.
times do we explain to them that
Yeah.
you've made a lot of decisions, you're having decision fatigue, we
Yes.
can take a break
Right.
and come back to it.
Absolutely. You can take a break and go get a drink, go walk outside for a minute, breathe the fresh air. We can come back to this another day. But to your point, sometimes recognizing all you have done and the reason you don't experience fatigue about something if you haven't been working for something. So like sometimes taking that moment to be like, I'm going to stop and kind of take a scope of what I have done today and be proud of that for a second. That I think kind of helps us to rephrase and say like, okay, I am a competent, capable person. I've been making, decent choices for my life all day long, or especially if we're in a decluttering session, sometimes that is so much more fatiguing than we anticipate. And it can be heavily emotional. It can bring up sometimes memories or, situations that maybe we didn't even really want to have to trudge through again. But in the process of letting go, sometimes we have to do that. So if you find yourself in a similar position, I just think hopefully this is helpful information to somebody to say like, hey, you know what? I'm not broken. Nothing's right. Exactly. This is part of a normal human experience. I know what to call this. And I know that I can take a breath through this moment. I can choose to push forward and just make a decision that's probably fine. Or I can choose to say, I'm going to table this. And that doesn't mean you're a failure. That doesn't mean you're tabling it forever and that you'll never come back to it and be a success. But maybe you need to call somebody. Maybe you need to call somebody and get some help. And that's what we're here for. So thanks for chit-chatting with us today. We hope we catch you next time. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's the deal from Chick-Mobile. Chick Chat.